Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast, episode 23, Invasion Part 2, where I'll be covering Invasion Part 2, Issue 2, and Starman, starring Will Payton, Starman Volume 1, Number 5. So let's get started. Let's just jump into Invasion 2. Let's get some pertinent data, as they say in the South, on this issue from the DC Wiki. This comic has a cover date of December 1988. The cover is by Bart Sears and Joe Rubinstein. I really do love Bart Sears. I'm a huge fan of his Justice League Europe and his work at CrossGen. And I'm blanking on the title he did, but a great comic artist. I love his animated faces. I just love them. So it's a great picture. It's a great cover. It's a UN flag being planted, and as the son of a Marine, very proud son of a Marine, they are doing the Iwo Jima pose, putting the flag in, and it is John Jones, Wonder Woman, Captain Atom, and Firestorm. And this, you got to remember, folks, this comic is right after Crisis and after Legends and the formation of the Justice League International. The title of this issue is Battlefield Earth. Again, cover dated December 1988. Executive editor, the amazing Dick Giordano. Writers, Keith Giffen and Bill Mantlo. Oh my God, it's a dream team for me. Pencilers, Todd McFarlane, Keith Giffen. Inkers, P. Craig Russell, Al Jordan, Joe Rubinstein, Tom Christopher. Colorist, Carl Guilford. Letterers, Augustin Maz and John Costanza. Editors, Kevin Dooley and Andrew Heffer. I am not going to read you the whole big synopsis from the wiki because it's an awful lot. But I'll kind of go over the plot a little as we go through the issue. So what I like about, let's just get to it. What I like about this comic, these were fat comics. I mean, they were 81 page count, which is great. It took a while. I'm reading these on the app because I don't have a physical copy of them. I thought I did. They may be buried in a box. I just didn't feel like looking. But it starts with a lot of an info dump, like you're watching the news, it's a mission briefing, more mission briefing, and it gives you where things have started off. And I posted most of this opening segment on the interwebs because I thought it was kind of cool. And it starts with classified information, authorized eyes only. The information you're about to receive gathered by the planet's intelligence communities under the aegis of the United Nations is priority 1 clearance data. And it just shows you where it's been invaded. It shows you who's in command. General Wade Ealing, Earth Armed Forces. Grant Morrison's going to use him wonderfully later. Captain Atom, Captain of Earth Super Forces. Amanda Waller, Combined Intelligence. And Maxwell Lord, JLI, Liaison and Advisor. And then it gives you a briefing on the 6 alien races that are leading this invasion. The Dominion, the Gildishpan, the Durlans, the Okaran warlords, the Canuds, and the Tangerians. And it shows where they've been doing battle. And then, and this is all chapter 1, because it's broken up into 3 chapters, or 4 chapters. You get flashbacks to other books of what's happening. Aquaman's fighting with the Doom Patrol underwater, and Celsius has been killed from the second Doom Patrol. Atom is battling the Canuds. Starman, our man, is fighting alongside Firehawk and Firestorm. And Aquaman, and San Diego, a novice hero, Animal Man, because he's been reintroduced, this being post-crisis, he's just become a hero. You see Wonder Woman battling, you see O'Brien battling, you see the New Guardians, which was Steve Englehart, Joe Stanton creation after Millennium. But that's another story. You see Captain Atom fighting. You see Wally and Chunk, his friend, fighting. And then the Manhunter in the post-crisis Manhunter suit. I think that's Mark Shaw in that. It's been so long. I never read that. That's a book I kind of jumped in and out of. Only when it crossed over with Suicide Squad. And then you show where everything is and that there has been a ceasefire. And then you see the heroes all being briefed dead man's in somebody's body, and you can tell because one of the guys is glowing, and you see just all the heroes getting a briefing. And this stuff's great. This is early McFarlane, and this is the McFarlane I like. I like his stuff on this more than I do on his Infinity. I think Tony DeZuniga inks him on his Infinity Ink, and I don't think they're a good match. And I like it. I do appreciate it. But I think this is some good stuff. And you just get to see some of the new heroes, some heroes I forgot about because I haven't read this. And this is an era of comics that I really, really love. Really, really love this. When this comic came out, I was almost 24 years old. I had some money. I had a gig for Xerox. I was doing all right. And I read a lot of this stuff, and I liked it a lot. I went to a couple comic shops here in D.C., or I'd go back up to Northern Virginia. But this was some fun stuff. The Dominion, they're some bad moes, man. They're some bad moes because they're all doing stuff behind their back. And Chapter 1 is basically exposition, showing some of the machinations of the bad guys. It's wordy. It's Bill Mantlo dialogue and a Keith Giffen plot. So I'm loving it. It's a little wordy. It is a little wordy. And then you see that the heroes broke the ceasefire first with a sneak attack. And you see them all flying toward Australia. And Starman's got, they're kind of promoting Starman in this. They give him some stuff to do in this one. And then you just see the heroes start fighting. And at this point, the Knuds convince the Daxam observers to just, you don't have to get involved, but if you just beat the crap out of Superman. So off they go. And you see Aquaman. We cut to Aquaman. Some stuff out in Atlantis where it's the Doom Patrol, the Sea Devils, and not the Doctor Who Sea Devils, but the Sea Devils from DC's Silver Age. And Aquaman, they're battling the Gilderspan under the ocean and doing all right. Firestorm, Green Lantern, and some of the new gods, Blue Beetle, Justice JLI, Big Barda, Mr. Miracle. And Superman has not, in this timeline, Superman has never met a Daxam. There is no Mon-El. Valor will come later after this. And I think he comes right after this. I think is he one of these guys, if I remember right? I'm going to have to go check something. But, and then we cut back more. Lex Luthor's created a fake Flash and put a bomb in it, and it blows a hole in the spaceship. Because the Scions and everybody, they're trying to the whole thing is they've come here to get the metagene. And they're not doing so great with it. Adam Strange in the background. And it's just great. And Superman he saves the Daxams because there's so much lead, just ambient, just floating around. Because they're so allergic or susceptible to it that he takes them all out. And then he convinces them to side with the humans and to protect them. And then the artist changes at this point. When we go back in Chapter 3 and 4 are by Giffen, and they're wonderful. It's wonderful. It's neat to see him draw Wally. I forgot Wally's dad was a Manhunter after the Manhunter thing in Millennium, and he sacrifices himself in the war. And, his dad's a racist and a jackass. But, yeah, I think one of these Daxams is Valor. We're going to check. But, one of the Daxams sacrifices himself by alerting their planet that they've been duped. See Bronze Tiger working with the new Guardians. Some of this Giffen art is great. And this is when Giffen art was changing. And I think some of this, it's Giffen, but I think Al Jordan is inking it, and sometimes it really reminded me of Maguire, the faces a little bit. But we see the Stalag in space. There's a Stalag in space where they're experimenting, and some of the humans there, their metagenes get triggered. The Daxams showed up, and the war takes a turn. And it's just all out battle, and it's a lot of great action. It's like watching a big budget movie. I enjoyed the hell reading of this. Oh, and then a Knud, Dead Man's on the spaceship. He makes one of the Dominators press the wrong button, and then he takes over Knud, who kills the two Dominator heroes, and then he puts the gun. The Knud makes the Knud put the gun to his own head and blow his head off, which I'm like, that shocked me. I had forgotten that the dead man killed the guy, and then we get to chapter 4, or we get to that's its history, and then we get to see the news of the win. So the war's over. It's issue 2. The war's over, but the aftermath is issue 3. So more information about this book, and I want to check some stuff on the wiki before we move on. Cast of characters is just too long to read, but it's great. But there are some casualty. Primus from the Omega Men dies in this. Kel Gand. Oh, that's right. He's the brother. Is he the brother? I'm going to look at that. Kel Gand. He is one of the Daxamite in the invasion, but he's of the same family. I don't. Does this show? Is it we? He. Let's see. I'm looking at this. Largand is his son. Shadowlass is his daughter. Oh yeah, this is. Yeah, he is the father of Mon-El. That's cool. I find that incredibly cool. I forgot all about that now that I'm talking about it out loud to myself and to you. That it was great. And Rudy West dies. Any other big deaths? So many characters appear in this. This is so cool. Chunk cameo, Lissa Malore first appearance. We're seeing the introduction of some of the Legion team members, which will be a spinoff of this. It's great. This issue marks the first usage of the word metagene. Okay, I forgot about that. There are a bunch of tie-ins. Superman was sent to meet with the Dominators in Adventure of Comics 449. This issue has been reprinted once, just in the trade back. The cover of this issue is inspired by the Marine Corps War Memorial in Arlington, right outside of Arlington Cemetery, where I grew up. So that means a lot to me. It's a big deal. We had a painting of the Iwo Jima photograph. We had a copy of the Iwo Jima photograph hanging in all. My father was a very proud Marine, and he deserved to be. Who's Who in the DC Universe? An alternate interpretation of the Hero Summit is pinned up by Bart Seals to illustrate the event for a profile. That's very cool. That's very cool. I'm going to have to look that up. I have the 2 Who's Who hardcovers. Omnis are great. Likewise, Superman's fight with the Daxamites used as inspiration for the illustration of JLA Secret File. This is very cool. I love the little trivia in here. Spider-Man can be seen in the background. But I enjoyed this. I'm doing this because they really made a point of putting Starman in this event, and it's so early in his career, I thought I had to do it. So we're going to move on to Starman Volume 1, Number 5. So give me a second to resituate myself in another comic, and we'll get a going. All right, Starman Volume 1, Number 6. Cover dated January 1989. Cover artist Tom Lyle. Writer Roger Stern. Penciler Tom Lyle. Inker Bob Smith. Colorist Juliana Federer. Letterist Bob Pinna. Editor Robert Greenberger. Star characters, Starman. Supporting characters, Adam, Blue Beetle, Green Lantern, Power Girl, Jane Marie Payton, and Muggs the dog. Adversaries, Harold Meltrose and the Power Elite. There is the Durlin. This takes place in Australia, Arizona, Phoenix, where my father used to live. Well, he lived in Scottsdale. Australia, Sydney, Utah, Salt Lake City. He gets a flying beetle's bug. This issue is an Invasion tie-in extra taking place between Invasions 2 and 3. After the conclusion of the war in the second issues, these deal with the rest of the story, but right before the conclusion of the final issue where the Dominators unleash the gene bomb. And this is called Fortunes of War. So let's kind of go through this one. I'm really digging these. I'm glad I'm reading them. I said this before. I'll say it again. Starman, all of them, they're my jam. But I remember reading these issues because I read the event. So, like I think I've said before, the Starman stuff I knew from like Vents. This and the final one, the Eclipso, which I really remember enjoying, but it's been so long since I read that I went and bought those issues, some of the issues of that, so I could you know just have them for my Starman fixation, which is cool. So I'm digging this. I'm looking this up on. I have to read these on the app because I didn't feel like digging out the comics because my office is a mess, and I need to fix it. So it is what it is. So Starman Volume 1, Number 6 has a great cover. It is Starman trying to fix the Sydney Opera House, and Green Lantern is helping, and then there are little circles with heads of Blue Beetle, Power Girl, the Atom, and the Power Elite. 23-page comic, man. These things are... I don't know. I like these wordier comics. But it's got a great splash page, Fortunes of War, which starts with Sydney, Australia. Combined forces of Earth's greatest heroes have liberated the island continent from hordes of alien invaders, but war has taken its toll. Fortunes of War. And it just starts with him trying to fix the Sydney Opera House with the help of Power Girl and Green Lantern. And I think Power Girl's flirting with him. Wink, wink, wink. But he's kind of, he's a little starstruck. He keeps meeting him. And this is great because we're seeing, I think they're speeding up his joining in because he's got his own book. He that makes him a marquee star in a way. I mean, he's second tier, but he's got his own title. Adam at this point, does he? I don't think he has his own title. Power Girl doesn't have her own title. Green Lantern does have his own title, but I don't know. He's still Green Lantern. I don't think it's John Stewart's taken over yet. But they're putting him in these events and having him build relationships with other heroes and make him become part of the superhero community. Then we cut back to the Power Elite where they're torturing this guy who keeps saying he's Prentice, and he's not because the real Prentice there, and they torture him, and he's the Lee Derlin of the Invasion, the guy with the mohawk. And they beat the crap out of him, and then they use him as bait. So Blue Beetle gives Starman a ride to the desert where he left his clothes, and then he's going to hitchhike. And then as he's hitchhiking out, he's, talking to the guy who's driving him. Guy's wearing a yellow plaid shirt, a red kerchief, and I don't know, he looks like a math teacher. But you see him flashbacking to the last last issue into his team up with Power Girl, Firehawk, and Firestorm. He runs into his sister, and he talks to his mom, and you see they keep an update. And then he sees in the news that the Derlin is fighting the Power Elite. It's all a trap to lead him in there, and he flies his most because he's looking for the Power Elite. And he tracks them down to their bus, and he just starts a fight. And they have this big fight on the highway outside their bus, or Winnebago, or whatever it is. And he's winning the fight. And then everything goes to a negative effect. And that is the mutant gene bomb that blew up in Invaders 3. I really dug this. It's a good comic. It's a good Roger Stern comic. It is wordy. I don't mind it. There's a lot of exposition. There's character development through conversation. The action is there, man, and there's a little too much talking maybe during the action. But it's, to me, this is how I know you got this team of supervillains, the Power Elite, who think they're heroes. So you got to kind of, there's not enough. I mean, how do you know this person? How do you know their motivation? How do you know their personality? And it's coming from their interaction verbally. And then you still have great action. Tom Lyle's a great comic artist. He knows how to lay out a comic. It's very 80s. I mean, they're mullets. But I think it works really well. The yellow and purple costume is growing on me. I think the only action figure of him has the black, red, and white one. But he's the one Starman I don't have a figure of him. And is there one of Michael? Please, someone tell me there's an action figure of Michael. But there's just some really good stuff going on in this, and I really recommend it. I recommend you, if you got it, it's on the app, read it and Invasion on the app. And let me know what you think. I thought this was a great comic. I'm looking forward to next time around, which will be in 3 episodes of Opal City. So in 3 weeks, Starman, Gavin, Starman. No, 4 weeks we'll have another one, which will be Invasion 3 and Starman 7. All right, folks, I've been really busy. I wanted to apologize. I have not done a Legion episode in a couple weeks. I do not know if I will do one tomorrow. I have a recording date for Gallifrey's Most Wanted. It's when I could get the amazing Mark Cockrum from All of Time and Space to come on and talk The Mutants from the John Pertwee era. And I'm looking to that conversation. I'm trying to get ahead on some of my Doctor Who. This weekend will be the next episode of Danger Street, and it will be The Creeper. It is issue 7. Or is it 8? I don't have it in front of me. But it is the Creeper issue. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reading that Creeper comic tonight. But that's what's going on. Me and Kirby are going to get together and talk about the Avengers story Under Siege, which I'm looking forward to. I'm also recording this weekend with the amazing Billy D. Guys, if you're not listening to his Monsters and Movies podcast, you should. I'm listening along. I'm enjoying it. He's also got his Zany Haney stuff in there, which I've been lucky enough to be a guest on. I'm jumping around on it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But if you're not listening to World on Fire Season 2, he just did an episode about Power Girl, her first appearance in Showcase, which I thought was a blast. I do love those comics. But check that out. But me and him are going to do the next My Daring Defenders. So we got a 4-part story coming up. So I got some reading to do. A lot of good stuff coming in. I'm going to try to schedule some other people, guests, Jimbo back to talk. Me and him, he's moved. Maybe we can get to do Star Trek Legion team up, which I think would be a great, I'm looking forward to. But other things, I'm going to start my read of Gotham Central, which you all voted on. I appreciate that. That's next up. And I've got some more Omnis coming out. I got the second Defenders. That's hence why me and Billy are going to talk Defenders. But I've got some other neat stuff coming in, and I'm going to do an episode of some of the Omnis I've gotten and why I bought them. And I just thought, something I'm interested in. All right, folks. Well, I got to get going because I'm going to edit this, post it up today. As always, be smart, be safe, be kind to one another, and read some comics.